Hey guys! So this is my video for part 2 of what I read for July, now that it's August. And yeah, I also have blog posts that I talk more about the books. So I will put that link down below for my blog, and I have like summaries of the books and what I thought. So bear with me while I get used to talking about books. It's a learning process, and I'm learning. So yeah, so hope you enjoy. The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. I got this from Target, their club pick, and this was a really good story. I'm really glad I read this. It is a novel about I'm trying not to think of like ways to spoil it, but so the beginning, very first chapter, so it's not a spoiler. A 12-year-old girl finds her 13-year-old sister in a garden, and they live in London, I think, and they have just moved there into this communal garden, which is a really neat idea. It's like little townhouses or something around, and then there's a garden in the middle. So it's townhouses like in a circle, in a garden in the middle, and it's a couple parks in the garden. It's got like the Rose Park where the playground is, and they're all, a lot of the families will just send their kids out into this garden because of course you feel safe. Your kids are within this circle. They're not walking around in the city. And so it really explores that, of a feeling of your children's safety and how safe you feel, and not even just against adults, but that idea of, are children danger to themselves? Like how just they're teenagers, like just becoming teenagers, so beginning to come of age and beginning to have those teenage tendencies, and it's just a really neat idea, and I really liked it. The two girls that have this dramatic entrance into the story, they have just moved to this townhouse, into this garden, because their father has had a schizophrenic breakdown, and their mom has just moved in there, and she's also going through her own journey of trying to navigate life as a single mom and trying to figure out, does she feel safe with their father, and just, I mean, that's stressful in itself. You know, I've had to deal with that a little bit. Miette's biological father has schizophrenia, and so that really hit. I've never read a book where they talked about that, but I really enjoyed this. It's a really page-turner. It's like, because it introduces you to the situation at the beginning, and then you spend the rest of the whole novel trying to figure out what happened to this little girl. You don't even know if she was murdered, if she was raped. You have no idea, and it's just, you're taken back like 6 months to a year and brought up to the story at the end. So it's really good. I'm about to return these two books to the library, so I wanted to talk about them first before I did so. So the first one is Navigating Early by Claire Vanderpool. This is a YA novel. It's about a little boy named Jack. He's about 13, I guess. I can't remember, 12 or 13. And it's World War II story. So his mother passes away from, I think, like a sickness, and his father is in the military, and when he comes back from his wife passing, and he's got this 13-year-old boy, so he takes him to Maine. They're in Kansas. He takes him to Maine and puts him in this boarding school. This all happens in the beginning, so it's not like spoilers or anything. And this is his story of trying to navigate the world without a mother, about life, just who he is, he's a little boy, and he's missing his mom, and he meets this little boy named Early, and he's a different type of boy. He's not like the other ones, and he's just drawn to him, and Early just thinks differently than other people. His father has passed, his mother passed away when he was a baby. So, and a story about them two going on a quest, searching for pie, because Early thinks differently. He sees numbers as a story and its colors, and which is called something. I can't remember what it's called, but I know some people do have it, of seeing numbers as colors or feeling. And so this was a really good story. I probably, it's not like I would read it again, but it was a very well done story. It's very beautifully written, very nice story. And I guess I've never really read a YA novel about World War II. And for some reason, I'm just reading a whole bunch of World War II novels recently. Because my next one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. You see that through the glare? Whoop. There it is. And that's another World War II book, and this is amazing. Amazing. Go get it. Read it. I loved this story. It is just, it's so well written, and she does an amazing job with this. It's about sisters in France in World War II. They live right outside of Paris, and the Nazis come, and it's about their struggle. They don't have the best relationship, and they wish they were closer. And it's just, one of them, the older one, has a husband that leaves for the war, and she has a daughter, and the other one is, I think, like 19, and she's just, they've lost their mother early, and they're just trying to navigate this war. And it's a woman's perspective of the World War II. And it's just, I mean, I cried at the end. I just finished it like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, I cried. It was, and I'm going to think about this book for a long time. It's just, there's parts in it that are just, it was, and these two, it's not just, like, these two women help out in the war, and what is this hair doing? I don't know what, sorry, it's just distracting me. And these two women help out in the war. The younger one has this very patriotic personality, and she's like, I've got to do something. This is wrong, and I have to help. And so she forms this like escape route for fallen soldiers that are like fallen airmen, and it's really well written, and I got sucked in, and I just could not put it down. Especially today, like the past 2 days, I took my time through this book as well because it's so good, and it's just, it takes a lot of thought. So I would read a couple chapters. Marley, shh. I would read a couple chapters, and I just had to put it down and let it sink in, and it's beautiful. And I highly recommend this story. I think everybody should read it, and it's just, and it's a fiction. I mean, it's not like a true story or anything, but I feel like it could be a true story, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Those are the two books that I've read recently, and it's almost the end of July, so I have a couple more that I've also read. Another book is The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. I'm like really reading a lot of World War II books apparently, and I just finished this. This has been on my bedside. Is this still going? Yeah. This has been on my bedside reading, so I only really read this at night. So it took me a long time. It took me like 2 months to get through this. This has been on my beside my bed for 2 months. And well, once I got closer to the end, I just moved it into my morning reading and just finished it because I was really interested in what was happening. And it's about it's a true story, and Corrie ten Boom, and she orchestrated this escape route, hiding the Jews. She lives in Holland. Got cups falling. And it's her story, and it's a Christian story. It's about her keeping faith in all of that strife of World War II, and I can only imagine of how hard that is to keep your faith in that kind of situation. You're in Holland, Hitler, Nazis everywhere, hiding the Jews. It's just, I can only imagine. I don't even know what I would have done. And it's really nice to read her memoir about that. And then I guess as she was afterwards, she went and spoke, and she was in the prison. They caught her. It is just an amazing story, guys. It's amazing, and I highly recommend that. And I've got my kids coming in, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Bye.